The rain on Arcani 7 was not like rain on Earth. It was heavier, thicker, like shards of cold glass falling from the black sky. Each drop stung when it hit bare skin, and the metallic tang in the air told anyone with sense to get under shelter fast. But the girl wasn't moving. She sat in the mud at the edge of the ruined courtyard, her back against a broken pillar, her eyes glazed. Her skin was pale lavender, streaked with grime, and her hair, what was left of it, hung in wet, matted strands. Her clothes were little more than torn fabric clinging to her thin frame. Around her neck was a shattered collar, its circuitry sparking faintly. The rest of the convoy had already left her. The evacuation shuttle had roared away minutes earlier, lifting into the choking clouds. The alien refugees had filed up the ramp in a hasty line, never once glancing back at her. Even her own people, the same species, the same crest markings, had avoided her eyes. One soldier had stayed behind. Corporal Daniel Reeve crouched in the shadow of a collapsed archway, watching her through the haze. His orders had been clear. Secure the sector, then return to base. But something in the scene rooted him to the spot. Maybe it was the way she didn't even flinch at the acid-tinged rain. Maybe it was the look of someone who'd lost not just her home, but the will to try and find another. He stepped out into the open. The girl didn't look up. Her breathing was slow, almost shallow enough to stop. Reeve's boots splashed through the mud as he approached, the weight of his gear pulling at his shoulders. "You're going to burn your skin sitting out here," he said, his voice low but firm. No reaction. He crouched down in front of her, his helmet visor dripping. "Hey, you hear me?" Finally, her eyes shifted toward him. They were an unsettling shade, silver, with faint rings of blue that caught the dim light. Her expression was not hostile, just hollow. "You're human," she whispered, her voice cracking. "Last I checked," he replied. "Name's Reeve." "You?" She hesitated, as though speaking her name might cost her the last of her strength. "Sailing." Reeve nodded, but the rain was already eating through the paint on his gauntlets. He shrugged off his combat cloak, woven from acid-resistant fibers, and draped it over her shoulders. Instantly, she tensed. "Don't," she said sharply. "I'm not worth." "Yeah." Reeve interrupted, tightened the clasp around her. "I'll decide what you're worth." For a long moment, she just stared at him, her lips pressed into a thin line. Then she lowered her gaze. Getting her to stand was harder than he expected. Her legs trembled violently, and every step seemed to cost her. The rain hissed off the cloak's surface, sliding away before it could burn her skin. They made their way through the rubble-strewn streets, the air thick with the acrid smell of charred stone. Distant gunfire echoed to the canyons of broken buildings. At one point, she spoke, her voice almost swallowed by the storm. "They left me because I'm touched." Reeve glanced down at her. "Touched." "Infected," she clarified. She tapped the edge of the broken collar. This was a regulator. "It keeps the sickness dormant." It failed. They think I'll turn." Reeve slowed his pace. The word turn meant one thing in this war: mutation, loss of self, eventual violent death. "Are they right?" he asked. Her lips trembled. Maybe not. But even if they're wrong, no one will take the risk." Reeve let the silence hang for a few beats, then said, "Guess I'm no one, then." They found temporary shelter in the remains of an old temple. The roof was half collapsed, but the altar chamber still offered some cover from the rain. Reeve scavenged a small heating unit from his pack, setting it between them. The orange glow made her skin seem almost warm again. She sat cross-legged, still wrapped in his cloak. "Why are you doing this?" she asked quietly. "Because you were left behind," he said simply, "and I don't leave people behind." Her eyes searched his face, as though looking for cracks in the armor of his words. "Even if they might kill you?" "I've fought things a hell of a lot scarier than you," he said, smirking faintly. A tiny spark, maybe the start of a smile, touched her lips, then vanished. The next day, they began moving again. The storm had eased, but the city was still a corpse of smoke and silence. Every street was a risk. Every shadow could hide enemy scouts or worse. Salem moved with more strength now, though she still leaned on him when her legs faltered. At one point, they passed a mirror shard in the wreckage, and Reeves saw her catch sight of herself. Her reflection, a gaunt, hollow-eyed alien girl, made her look away instantly. "Don't," he said. "Don't what?" "Don't see yourself the way they did." Her hands tightened around the cloak. "Easy for you to say." "Yeah, but I'm saying it anyway." By the third day, their food rations were low, and they'd skirted around 2 patrols. Salen was coughing more often, a dry rasp that made Reeves' stomach twist. When they stopped to rest, she said, "You should go. You could make it back to your people in a day if you left me." "Not happening," he said without looking at her. "I'm serious, Reeve. He turned to face her. "So am I?" The finality in his tone silenced her. They reached the extraction point at dawn. The clearing was still and empty, the sky a dull gray. Reeve sent the signal, then crouched beside Salen. "You'll be safe," he said. "They'll have medics, real ones, not like me." But she shook her head. "When they scan me, they'll know about the infection. They'll put me in quarantine. Or worse. Then I'll vouch for you." Her laugh was hollow. "Humans don't vouch for us." Guess I didn't get that memo. When the dropship finally descended, the crew chief's first words confirmed her fears. "She's infected," he said coldly after a quick scan. "We can't take her." Reeves stepped forward. "She's coming with us." "That's a violation of—" "I don't care." His voice cut like steel. "You can court-martial me after we get her somewhere safe." The crew chief hesitated, glancing between Reeves' glare and Salen's frail form. Finally, with a muttered curse, he waved them aboard. As the dropship lifted off, Salen sat beside him, eyes wide as the city shrank below them. The wind from the cabin door whipped her hair across her face. "You risked everything," she murmured. "Worth it," he said. For the first time, she smiled, small, fragile, but real. In that smile, Reeves saw the truth. Sometimes saving one life was worth more than winning a war.